Okay guys, here we are with my deck recipe of Twilight. Anyone that doesn't know what Twilight is, it is a deck that is light sworn, used with dark monsters. And what I think about this deck, I think it's pretty good, pretty spammy, but it does have the chance of failing if you do draw badly. So yeah, other than that, let's get into the deck. We have one Celestia Lightsworn Angel. What it does is when you tribute a Lightsworn monster, you can send the top 4 cards of your deck to the grave. And you have to destroy, or you can destroy up to 2 monsters. Well, technically, if you choose to activate this effect, you have to send top 4 cards of your deck to the grave. Now, the one thing to keep in mind, all Lightsworns except for... no, actually, all the Lightsworns have mill effects. So, that's something to keep in mind, and if you end up milling out your whole deck, on your turn you will lose, so good thing to keep in mind. So, next we have a Chaos Sorcerer. Here, you just banish a light and a dark, special summon them, and you can't banish any face downs, but you can banish any face ups. So, and if you send to the grave after he was special summoned, you can monster reborn him too. If you didn't know that already. One Aaron Lightsworn Monk. So what it does is you attack a monster before damage calculation, which is when you're about to lose life points. You can send a defense position back to the deck. Why this is good is because it bounces back Marshmallons, Defenders, Destiny Hero Defender, anything really stalling you out. One problem with this card is that when it does use this effect, it flips over the card that is attacking and sends it back. So if you're battling Dark Worlds and you're trying not to activate a Morphing Jar, this can be a problem with this. Or anything that has a flip effect. So keep in mind, when Aaron attacks a face down defense, the monster still gets this effect if it's like a flip effect, but it still returns to the deck, so yeah. So watch out for the Dark World, whatever things. I really think only Dark Worlds are the ones that you have to worry about when it comes to that, and well, Blast Sphere doesn't go off, but oh yeah, Death Koalas, love this card because you hit it right back into there and you just damage or life points and whatever, so that's another thing to watch out for. And his cost is you have to send the top 3 cards of your deck to the grave. And also another thing, Lightsworns have to be face up to send cards to the grave. Garroth the Lightsworn Warrior. At first I didn't really care for this card because I'm like, I don't really understand it. So how this card works is when a Lightsworn monster card, let's say for example Aaron, so Aaron would activate and send the top 3 cards to your deck, from your deck to the grave. Now Garroth activates. Also, actually it's not a cost of sending, it's actually an effect to send, my bad. So with the effect of Aaron to send 3 cards to the grave at the end phase, this card will activate. When this card activates, you send the top 2 cards of your deck to the grave. If any are Lightsworn, so if you mill out like Wolf and Lumina, you would draw a card you would draw 2 cards because you milled out 2 Lightsworn. This card does not work with Raikou because, yeah, a good thing to keep in mind, does not work with Raikou because I believe I'm confused now. Those a Lightsworn that does not work with. I could have sworn. Okay, never mind on that for right now. If I figure out what I'm talking about, I will tell you in the comment section. But I could have sworn there was one that doesn't activate his effect. But I don't know. I could just be talking out my rear end. So anyways, if any of your Lightsworns mill, you mill with this, and you can't over abuse it by playing 3 of these monsters. Only one would get, well, I mean, you play 3 of them, so you do Aaron and Geralt would get his effect, and the second Geralt would get his effect, and the third one get his effect, but it wouldn't be because of the Geralt's milling. So, I hope I didn't confuse anyone. One Gores, you all know what he does. I really shouldn't have to go over this. And he is there so you don't get OTK'd, and Chaos Source are stuff usable when it's in the grave. Double Honest, you can play Triple Honest, but I don't feel like there's room for it. So what you do is you send it to the grave, you gain your opponent's attack, and this is only during damage step. You gain your opponent's attack and they take damage equal to your attack. It would be their attacking your attack if you drop 2 Honest, but yeah. Also, this card, as seen in the last video, does not work if you can't send it to the grave, so good thing to keep in mind. Also has a really good defense for being a level 4 hand trap kind of thing. So yeah, 2 Honest, 1 Jane. Usually cards that gain attack when attacking an opponent's monster is really bad, but this one is really actually pretty good. So when it attacks your opponent, it gains 300, giving it to 2100 attack, but if it's attacked, this is the downside of it, if it's attacked, it doesn't gain a 300, only when it decides to attack, so yeah, that's one problem and why he's not at 3 in the stack. Also, you have to send 2 cards on top of your deck to grave. Judgment Dragon. If you don't run 2 Judgment Dragons in a Lightsworn based or Lightsworn deck that has the ability of summoning them out, you're out of your mind because this card is overly broken in so many ways. So, things to keep in mind about this card before I start telling you the effect. You have to attack over Stardust for this effect to go off, otherwise Stardust will negate you. Thunder King will also negate your summon, so you have to make sure you get rid of Thunder King somehow. And those are really the only 2 that you have to worry about. So you can bring out this card after having 4 or more Lightsworns, but they have to have different names. And what I mean by 4 or more, they have to be in your grave. And with this deck milling so much, it's not a problem getting them in the grave. So, like Demise, this card requires you to pay 1000 life points, and you destroy every other card on the field. It is good for you to do if you want to blow up your opponent's field and then start swarming the field. The downside is you have to mill 4 cards. Also, it doesn't count towards Geralt's effect because it doesn't stay anywhere as a Lightsworn monster. It just uses Lightsworn monsters to summon itself. So, yep. And Honest really helps us out too. Yeah. Good to know. Really, if there's anything... I don't know if there's anything else that I'm forgetting about these. 2 Lumina Lightsworn Summoner. So what you do is its effect is you can discard 1 card, monster, spell, or trap, and you can bring back a level 4 or lower Lightsworn. And you special summon it, of course, and you mill 3 cards at end phase. So what you can do is, well, you have to have a target in the grave. Like, let's say Lila's in the grave. If there's not a Lightsworn monster in the grave, you cannot activate her effect. So, you would go, let's say Lumina's in the grave. So you go Lumina, discard, whatever, Necro, Plague, or something else. Usually you want to discard this, or if these are in hand. So then you bring back this, then you activate the effect again, get this maybe, get a Garoff, whatever, but yeah, and then pretty much you're going to be milling, drawing or whatever, and then bring out JD. That's pretty much the whole deck. Just mill and get JD. So next we have Lila. So Lila is kind of like a Goblin Attack Force effect, where it can switch to defense when doing something. So during your main phases, well, main phase 1 or 2, so you can attack and then activate effect. So anyways, what you can do is you activate this effect, it switches defense until your next end phase. Yeah. The end phase of your next turn. And then you can destroy a spell or trap, basically MST. It really helps out because this card will help out JDs. It helps out so many other decks like Flambells and all that other stuff. And Chaos, Norialis, whatever. You get to send 3 cards to the grave at the end phase. And it's not one of those things where if you activate the effect you send 3, it's when this card is on the field you send 3. I saw a duel where someone didn't know that, and it was on Dueling Network, so yeah, if it's on the field you have to send 3. Not really a problem though. So you destroy back row, summon out JD. Pretty much that's the main gist of things. 2 Necrogarnas. Basically it's darks and you banish it to negate an attack. 1 Plague Spider. You know what he does. You special summon him and make a synchro. You can make pretty much a lot of things. Double Raikou. What it does is when it's flipped, you can target a card in the field and destroy it. And you mill 3 cards after. And 1 Sangan, because when it's destroyed, it searches out so many things. For example, it searches out Honest, which adds it to your hand. Lila, or Lumina. I get these 2 mixed up. Necros, Plagues, and Raikous. And yeah, you might think it's not a lot, but you don't know how good that is. 2 Tragodias. I've gone over this so many times. Just 2 Tragodias, so you don't get OTK'd as well. 2 Wolves. Now you might be looking at a set effect where it says cannot be normal summoned or set, and you'd be thinking 2100 level 4. This card sucks. I'd rather play Cyber Dragon. Well, the whole thing of why it's so good is because when it's sent from your deck to the grave, you can bring it out and attack or defense. Of course, attack. And you get like a total of 3s out with this deck, but we're playing 2 because of the fact that you can't summon this and it's a dead draw in your hand. But there's good things you can do with this when you have it in your hand. You get rid of it, of course. Let's see. So we have 1 Bait Doll, just for more back row destruction, of course. And what it does is that you target 1 set card your opponent controls. Oh no, it doesn't say that, it just says target 1 set card. So you can activate on your own card to actually do some shenanigans. But anyways, you flip over face down if it's a trap. If its effect doesn't go off at that time, if it's the wrong timing, then you negate that effect, or that trap card, and destroy it. So things like Mirror Force, Bottomless, and whatever would get destroyed, but Compulse would have to activate and stuff like that. Gravity Bind. Also, if it's a spell, this card doesn't do anything, just sets it right back down, and this card goes back to the deck. So this gets rid of those annoying traps, even Solemns too. But, you know. Yeah, that's pretty much all you really have to worry about with this. It's an alright card. So, you could replace a Dust Tornado if you want to, but I don't mind Bait Doll too much. This helped me out. One Book of Moon, you flip something face down. So, that leads up to setting Raikou. Setting your Light Sworn so you don't mill out your deck. Setting Honest if you summoned it for some reason. And forgot to bring it back. Oh yeah, another thing with Honest, I forgot to mention. You can, during your turn, you can return it back to your hand. But it has to be during the main phase. Forgot to say that. So yeah, there's so many things you can use Book Moon set, or set your opponent's monsters. 3 Charge of Light Brigade. So you send 3 cards from your deck to the grave. The top 3 of course. And you add a level 4 lower. You mostly want to go for Raikou's, Garoth maybe, mostly I would go for Raikou's, Lumina's, and Lila's. And then if I don't need those, I go for like James, Garoth, Aaron. Never for Wolf, but yeah. Okay, so let's see. Destroy spell and traps in the back row. You discard 1 card and destroy all your opponent's face-up monsters. So you can send things like Plague, Necro, Wolf, whatever. Monster Reborn, bring something back to the grave. Now Monster Reincarnation is pretty good because you can discard. You can get, it's really good. I'm trying to think of the wording for this. So you can send, like, you have 3 Light Sword in the grave. You activate Monster Reincarnation, send, let's just say Jane. Then you bring back a JD from the grave. Now you'll have 4 Light Sworn, and you can special out JD. So, how good is that? You don't have to wait for it, and you're basically putting more things for it in the grave. So, yeah. If you're not trying to do that, you can put Necros and Plague in the grave. And Wolves. Wolves are really horrible in hand. Other than that, that's pretty much what that's in there for. It's only at 1, because this is really kind of a dead draw if you can't do anything with it. Just destroy a spell or trap, return 5 cards and draw 2. This card actually is really good in this, because you go through cards so fast, and then you can use this, put back your JDs, maybe 1 Lumina, maybe a Raikou, Celestia, whatever. You know, all that good stuff. And then draw 2 cards. So you get the chance of drawing 2 double JD. So here's the reason Wolf is kind of good in hand. You discard a Light Sworn and draw 2 cards and send the top 2 cards from your deck to grave. So usually Wolf, Hyla, Garoth, Aaron, whatever. You get the point of that, and it mills out your deck quicker. 1 Beckoning. So you discard your whole entire hand. Now you're like, why would I do that? So you discard your whole entire hand, and you add as many light monsters as up to the amount of cards you discarded. So you're obviously gonna add double JD. Usually you'll have 5 cards to hand if you're doing this. You go double JD. You go probably Lumina, Lila, 1 Raikou, 1 Celestia, and then a choice of Jane, Garoth, or Aaron, or maybe you just want double Honest, double JD, and 1 Lumina. That's still pretty good. Really good. Of course, you don't always need this, so 1 is fine. 1 Solemn Judgment, just negate a spell or a trap or a summon of a monster. It's gonna be troublesome for you. And 1 Torrential, to blow up the field if you need to. Things you can add to this deck are things like Dark Arms, because you play 1, 2, 3, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can have, oh, wait, Trigodia. 8 dark, you have 8 darks. So things like Dark Arm Dragon, Yugioh 5ds, whatever, really good. We just don't have Dark Arm because, I don't know, we're focusing more on the Light One portion, and then the Darks just help us out. You could get away with a Crush card if you wanted to. A good thing to keep in mind about Light Sword like this, or Twilight, is that they mill so fast that usually playing traps them is really a bad idea. So you could just like run triple charge Light Brigade, run triple Solar Recharge, maybe run triple Pot of Avarice, Heavy Storm and True Nade, Cold Wave, Monster Reborn, whatever. Just cards that add and discard cards in your hand to the grave. And then get Judgment Dragon. Also another good card for this deck is Magical Merchant, because if they attack into that, it'll send cards until you get spells like any of these, or traps like any of these 3. Why I didn't just make a side deck and show it off that way, because I don't know, I just really didn't. Just things, I just like to tell you what you can add instead of me having to look for it. So the side deck, I have 1 Catastor, 1 Armory Arm, 3 Avenging Knight Parshafts, 4 piercing damage, of course, and you draw a card, I think, right? No. It says piercing damage, you can change battle position of your opponent's monster. Black Rose, Bionic, Colossal, Dark Arm, or Dark End, Gaia, Goyo, Fist, Stardust, or Row, or whatever. So, my thoughts about the deck. It's really a pro kind of deck. It takes a little bit of getting used to, because you, like, at first it gets a little bit used to, but then it's just like, you get your mindset and you're like, okay, I don't need to think about it anymore. I just know how to play this deck. So basically, mill out, get JD. That's for the whole deck. That's all you have to do. So yeah, I hope you guys like this deck recipe. Things I could add or take out, go ahead and let me know in the section below. And yeah, I will catch you guys next time, and don't forget to leave your deck requests down below. And don't forget, there will be 2 Let's Play videos and 2 Yu-Gi-Oh videos, pretty much whenever I get the good convenience or the time to do it. So, which will be like every day, hopefully. If not, every other day. So, yeah, I'll catch you guys next time. This is Dragox55 signing out.